Welcome, Fokker.
Кто этот молодой человек?
Я не знаю.
So a little bit about me. First and foremost, this is true, by the way, I'm an introvert. The other thing is on my driving skills. I haven't done a lot of driving in my life. I don't understand all this go fast shit. I'm not a really good driver on the stick shifts. I'm pretty slow. This car we stole out of Texas. We got an incredible deal on this car. We were buyer number 3. It's a long, long story. My wife went to Houston with me. We picked it up and we drove it back. When we got this car, the thing that I thought about is I wanted to have like a IMSA car or an LMS car. I wanted to have that look and feel of a race car style when we did this car. And this was a tribute really to Audi and Hans Stuck and that Audi 90 that they did. If you look, we have a custom badge and a logo. We call this car the Bull. If I take the back of this car off and I show you the gearbox and the engine, it's got Audi Lamborghini stamped all over it, even though we're driving Volkswagens. So this is really a tribute to the heart of the Italian. By the way, the engines for this and the Lamborghini are made in the exact same factory in Romania, so Romanian built. But that's the heart of the Italian and the body of the German. So that's why we got both flags and we came up with our own little custom logo for this, and this has been a really, really, really cool car. This car we got out of Birmingham, Alabama. It had been wrecked in the right front quarter panel. It was a Georgia car originally. This car is a bit of a unicorn. Look it up on VinWiki. I had no idea until I ran the VIN number on VinWiki on kind of what we have. It's an 06. It's an 06 C2S with a 911 GT2 Aero kit set up on it from the factory, and then if you look it up, you'll kind of see what's there. But we raced SCCA and IMSA, so our car number was 67 back in the day we raced, so that's the tribute to our original car. So that's really cool. So this is the beast. You've met the bull. Now we can talk about the stallion. And the stallion we just picked up, this is a Ferrari 360 1999 first year gated 360. Got this on consignment out of Chicago Motor Cars. Haven't figured out the sponsorship stuff on here. I probably will do a little bit of a play on Ford versus Ferrari. I'm hopeful that we get some of the Fords out there to have some fun and play with, although I love Fords and I love Ferraris. I just love cars. The only thing that's not, factory on here when I got it was the exhaust. They've got a titanium exhaust they put in here. The car just sounds amazing. Out of all the cars, like this has that Ferrari sound. And we went back and forth on names for this car, but I think Stallion pretty much makes it. Looking at this car with yellow, like I'm not a super big yellow fan. And then I started doing some research and I found out that Enzo Ferrari, if you look at the Ferrari emblem, this is yellow, and the stable badge is for Scuderia Ferrari, which is Ferrari stables. It's yellow, and that yellow really was Enzo's color. So, this is it. The red was an Italian car, or Italian color, and that was the Italian racing color that was out there by FIM. So that's what they picked up on their color on the car. So I'm gonna probably try to blend the yellow in there. I don't know if we'll go like extreme. All the other cars are black. Of course, the other ones, wrapped all to hell. So those are our cars. So I'm an old guy, born in '66 and just outside of Washington, D.C. Kind of lived all over the place as a young kid. I grew up between Chicago, D.C., a little bit of Philadelphia, South Carolina. Weird family upbringing. Never really knew my dad. Well, actually, never knew my dad. Guy I always thought was my dad. Really wasn't my dad. Really wasn't around much. Lived with my mom for part of my life, and then my mom had I don't know. I think she had a bad childhood or something. So I ended up kind of getting bounced around between my grandmother and family members and friends and yada, yada, yada. Anyways, at one point in our life, we moved to South Carolina. My mom was going to make a fresh start of it, I think on the 15th time of a fresh start. And we moved down there. I think I had just turned 15 years old, and my mom loved to drink, loved to party. I had a little sister that was, I think she was 2.5 at the time, and my mom disappeared for like a week. I had a couple jobs, she hadn't had a job, and just had enough of it one day, and I walked out. Moved in on my own. I kind of figured out that one of the things that I wanted to do was make sure that I finished school, whatever that meant. And then I was going to go in the Army, and I figured the Army was a path for me to get my life in order, get myself straight. Ended up living on my own for almost a year and a half. Got into a fight in school, broke my hand, broke my little pinky actually. And by this time, my mom had moved back to DC, Maryland area. And school tried to contact my parents and found out I had no parents or legal guardians in the state of South Carolina. So they threw me out of school. And which is kind of a weird thing because, after 2 weeks of being out of school, you become a truant and they can lock you up and stick you in Boys Town or, Boys Village, getting you foster care. And I didn't want any of that. So I lived in not even a one town or a one light town, and went to the local cop there, this guy Cecil Durham. And I said, hey, here's my life story. I'm trying to get my shit together. I just want to get out of high school, get good grades, and get in the military and go on about my business. He hooked me up with this guy, Dallas Ball, who's an attorney. Dallas kind of heard my story out, became my guardian ad litem. My senior year of high school, I was working in my dad's law office, filing papers and doing stuff. And he's like, no one really has custody of you right now. And I'm like, oh God, here it goes. They're gonna kick me out of the house. Here I go again. And he's like, we talked about it. We'd really like to adopt you. I grew up Frank Sullivan. At 17, I was adopted, had a full name change, and the Balls really kind of became my family. I knew I was going to the Army. I wasn't being talked out of it. I wasn't going to go to college right away. I wasn't ready. I went to the Wayward School for Boys, 13-week infantry OSIT, went to airborne school, ended up in the 82nd Airborne Division. Ended up, I was in Italy for a while, Germany for a while, came back, was a drill instructor at Fort Jackson, got out on green to gold, and went to college. I finally said, after all these accomplishments and things that I had done in the military, my dad told me to volunteer for everything. I think he was trying to get me killed. But he literally said, if something comes up, raise your hand, volunteer for everything. And later in life now, I run intern programs. So I bring interns in, turn them into apprentices, and one of the first things that I teach them is definitional learning. Definitional learning is simple. Learning is knowledge gained through experience. And I think that's what my dad saw, is that if you volunteer for things in life, you're going to get the knowledge through the experience of how to do things, and it's going to round you out. My fear in life has driven me. Fear of failure, fear of missing out, fear of failure. I don't know if I've got FOMO. A lot of people have FOMO, but my thing was, I never wanted to fail. I knew, kind of growing up as a kid, I knew what failure in life looked like because I had seen people fail around me, but they only failed because they gave up on themselves. I flew some really cool aircraft in the military. I did a bunch of cool shit. That's neither here nor there. Those are chapters of my life. Actually, I flew in the Guard up in Tennessee, and I bought an airplane, had an airplane, and I always wanted to own an airplane, so I had an airplane for a few years, flew that back and forth, and made a lifelong friend when I sold it. Unfortunately, he passed July 17th of 2017. Alan Ram, super good guy. If you get a chance, go out and Google Alan Ram, CEO of, I think it's Prometric Solutions in Scottsdale, Arizona. Just one hell of a guy. I'd like to say thank you for everybody that had input on me getting that trophy on Spirit of the Crown. I really, I didn't shoot to win that. I don't know if anybody knows this, but we put this car together, and you guys will hear the story on the car. I just wanted to win Best Wrap. I wanted to kick Ryan Wheeler's ass, although I thought his car looked amazing. So let me share with you some things about Crown. Number one, if you're a car person, if you have a car, you like your car, you like to show off your car, you like to drive your car, this is for you. If you're a people person and love to be around car people, this is 100% for you. Crown is not clicky, but there are different cliques inside a Crown. Let me explain that. There's people that like to get out front, drive fast, be spirited, do things. That group is fine. If that's your group and that's who you want to be with that group. Safety is first and foremost, and it's paramount in everything that group does. I've run in that group several times, and I sit down, we have conversations about things we will do, things we won't do, if we're going to spot somebody to go by, if we can pass, we're using Zello, or we're giving hand and arm signals, getting people around to make sure that we don't put any, civilians in jeopardy if we're driving a little bit spirited. There's other folks that just get in their car and they enjoy the drive. They're going from place to place, they're going from city to city, they're enjoying the food, the camaraderie, the nightlife, the things that we're doing, and then getting all the cars together, talking to people about their cars and seeing cars. And then there's everything in between. And I will tell you that the roads that we go on are just incredible. If you get a chance to really, drive your car, and you don't have to go all out, you don't have to do anything crazy, but you get to, go through. There's spectators. Yes, there are really spectators. I'll never forget, we went through Kentucky, and we're in the middle of nowhere, type of stuff, and we're driving through some areas, and there's kids out there, no teeth. I'm joking, they have their teeth, but they're out there barefoot, in the rain, no shirts on, for the little kids, the guys. And they're out there just waving and everything on the cars, and it just, that's really cool. And speaking of kids, the philanthropy side of what we do is really huge, and I encourage everybody to get involved in this. So you have cars, you have people, all walks of people, by the way, all walks of cars. There's not a car or a person on there that just isn't, they bring their own story with them, and you get a chance to meet, drive, eat, talk with these people. So I would say, if you're a car person, come out. Check it out. It's it's a way to channel some dollars into something where you're going to be a part of a fraternity of people that that'll be lifelong friends the rest of your life. All right, man, you ready to get this started?
Frank, what is that?
He said put my rally gear on. Woo! Hell yeah!
Frank,
Y'all ready?
what is that?
Dude, you said frickin' Top Gun. Even brought my dog.